Welcome to Chimaiko. My name is Johnson Fatwa. In this course, we're going to be talking about complete PHP development. And as you can see, PHP has a logo called elephant logo, and it's very popular. It's nice. PHP startup. What does PHP actually mean? PHP is hypertext preprocessor. It's a server scripting language and a powerful tool for making dynamic and interactive web pages. It allows web developers to create dynamic content that interact with databases, and dynamic content like you collect data using a form on the web page, then you send it to be stored to the database. Then what is the history of PHP? PHP is created in 1994 by Rasmus Ladov. This man. It's initially PHP. It is used for track online visitors on web. What are the prerequisites for you to know much about PHP or to develop PHP application? Before taking this course, you must have a basic knowledge of HTML for those that take the HTML course and the CSS course. Even have JavaScript knowledge and Ajax, jQuery, XML. What are the uses of PHP? PHP is actually a scripting language and generally used to make websites. Websites have different. We can make a website with HTML. But PHP is mainly used for designing server-side applications where we want to pull out information from the database, or we want server to serve our visitors. Actually, PHP is a server-side scripting language which is used to connect web page with a database. It means we have a web page separately and database separately. Database such as MongoDB and MySQL. Like this, we can have the database separately that is storing our data, and we have the web page which is a PHP application. So there's going to be a transaction of request and a response. When you send a request on the web page, it gives you the server send back the response by pulling out information from the database. PHP is also used for create dynamic website. As we have said, we can have a dynamic website where people can do registrations to Oracle database, MySQL, and so on and so forth. PHP also can interact with the native file system of the OS, like our text file. We have like most of us use Notepad, so we can save things in Notepad and use PHP to access those records or those data inside that. We also can implement a business logical layer, one or more. We can also encrypt data with PHP. We can access cookies, variables, and set cookies in PHP. Some of those things that you're going to be coming across and you're going to be doing this course. We also use PHP. You can use PHP to restrict user, like if you want to control user, or what we call user authentication and authorization to access a specific page. Not every user admin is different from the visitor. Alright, so we can actually restrict who comes to our page. Then PHP is used to output HTML code to the browser. We use PHP to connect web application with database, as we said. It is also used to send and receive emails. Like we can fill a form, and when you fill the form will be submitted, and the owner the admin will receive a copy of the mail, you also can receive a congratulation or a autorespondent. You can use PHP to find today's date. You can build a calendar for the month. And we're going to be doing some of those things. If you host your banner advertisement on the website, we can use PHP to rotate or to do a kind of rotation of those banner or those pictures randomly. Now, like we call slider. Another thing is that PHP can actually do for us is that PHP can count your visitors. Means how many persons come to my web page. How many visitors did I have this month? So a lot of us have to know that how many persons. This is very useful in web analytics. We can use PHP to create a special area of your website for members. Special area that you want them to visit. We can use PHP to create login page. And it means if a visitor comes to your page, for him to access some information, you get to create a login page. It means the person needs to sign up. When they sign on to log in, when they log into to the application, is going to log in and have opportunity or privilege to view the other part of the page. For example, you go to Facebook. Facebook requests that you log in before you can access your page. Now, PHP can access information on database. We can add to database, we can delete from database, or we can modify elements within the database. Alright? One thing is that PHP can also restrict user to access some pages of the website or some information from the database. It can encrypt the data, and PHP also performs system functions. System functions either from the file on the system. It can create or open or read files. And you see, all these things are things that we call dynamic application. Note that PHP can handle forms. Forms like registration form, login form, shopping cart form, and so on and so forth. So PHP can gather data from files, save data to files, like we can read data from Excel file, we can read data from text files. All of this PHP can do. We're going to practice some of these things at a live class. Now, why use PHP? Let me tell you, the truth is, my most favorite server-side scripting language is PHP. There's no alternative about that. Right? Why use PHP? PHP runs on different platforms, such as Windows, Linux, Unix. PHP can run on Mac, etc. Now, PHP is very simple to learn, and it runs efficiently, so it's easy. It is compatible with almost all servers. Like we have Linux server, we have server 2010, server 2008, server 2012, and so on and so forth. We have IIS, we have Apache server. Now, PHP also supports many databases such as MySQL, Oracle database, Progress, SQL, and so on and so forth. Even though Access database, PHP can support all of that. You can also use Excel file spreadsheet as a database. It is perfectly suited for web development and can be embedded directly into the HTML code. We're going to be doing all these things a few times. To say, it is used together with Apache web server. That's what PHP actually used with on various operating systems. We can use it with Microsoft's IIS on Windows. Now, PHP, it is open source. That means it's free to download, free downloadable, free to get. That's open source. Now let's look at the syntax of PHP. How do we write PHP? We can write PHP separately. We can embed it in HTML. So far we've been working with HTML before. We can now embed PHP inside the HTML. To do one of those things, let's look at this syntax. In the HTML tag, we have everything we need, but we need to declare our PHP syntax. PHP syntax is actually not difficult. PHP syntax start with a less than or a angle bracket with a question mark, followed by PHP itself, space, then your statement. So if you look up here, then you close it by question mark and angle bracket, right angle bracket. So the code with the cream color is the PHP code. So we can embed PHP inside HTML like this without stressing ourselves. And likewise, we can create PHP files separately. The basic points that about PHP, you need to master them. Alright? PHP file can contain text, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP code. You know, PHP is very good. PHP file have an extension called .php. The PHP code are executed on the server, so you need web browser to be able to execute your code. And it means you execute your code based on what you have through the web browser. PHP is an interpreted language. It means that there's no need for compilation. Interpreted language means that as you write the code, you go through your browser, you run it, interpreted. So we don't need to buy a compiler to compile it. It is a server-side scripting language, as I said. All its work has to be working on the server, pulling down information on the server. And this is index.php. That's what we said, extension.php. Like you've been working with .html. So .php is what we use. PHP is very fast, means it's faster than other scripting language. Like ASP.NET, we have JS, JSP, all of that are not as good, as fast as PHP. Then, some of the advantages of PHP. It is open source, means downloadable, free, widely used in all over the world. It's the most used all over the world. And, as we said, it is executed on the server. It means you need to install a server before you use PHP. To execute PHP code, no need for compiler. So those are the good advantages that we have there. Now, look at it. Let's take it one by one. PHP is simple. It is simple. Means simple in the sense that it is very simple and easy to use compared to other scripting language. It is very simple and easy to use. In this, it is widely used all over the world. The next one is interpreted. It is an interpreted language. Means we don't need a compiler to compile. All we need is our browser. Once we get our browser, we can run PHP easily. PHP is faster. It's very, very fast than any other scripting language, as we said. Then we say it's an open source. It's open source. It's not what you go to market to buy. You go online, you download it free. Platform independence. PHP code will be run on every platform. Maybe you are using operating system Linux or Unix or Mac or OS or Windows. But PHP is one thing. It's not like HTML. It is case sensitive. If you use a case, uppercase, lowercase, you must maintain. PHP is case sensitive scripting language at the time of variable declaration. In PHP, all keywords, e.g. if, else, while, echo, etc. classes, functions, and user-defined functions are not case sensitive. Means the keywords are not case sensitive. But if you declare a variable, you start first name, you start with capital F, first name. Don't go and use a small case or a lowercase with lower f, lower p is case sensitive. Error reporting. PHP has some predefined error reporting constants to generate a warning or error notice. It's real-time access monitoring. PHP provides access login by creating the summary of recent access for user. It's loosely typed language. PHP supports variable usage without declaring its data type. It is taken by the time of execution based on the type of data it has on its value. It means that if I declare ox equals to 20, I don't need to declare that it's a string or it's an integer or it's a float. No, I don't need that. It's a loosely typed language.